A few weeks ago, I sat down for a podcast episode with Jerry from historic Arcadia Farm to explore everything that their property has to offer. Now, I'm excited to follow up that amazing conversation with the bride I worked with who actually got married there. In this episode, we'll find out why she chose the venue, what she loved most about the planning process, whether she stayed on budget, and how a last minute change on Friday nearly threw everything off track for the whole weekend. You're listening to The Wedding Whisperer with Sarah Burton of Simply Love Studio in Lexington, Kentucky. Hi, Jessica.
Hey.
So it has actually been a year since we talked.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that until we started chatting just a bit ago.
Yeah, me either.
Time has definitely flown since you got married.
Yes, definitely.
So I first met with you probably about a year and a half before your wedding day.
Yeah.
When we first met, you were looking at venues for your wedding.
Yes.
And so how long from the time that you and Christian got engaged till the time you got married?
So we got engaged July the year before and then got married the following October. So I want to say like a year and 3 months.
Okay. Yeah. So that's actually, I feel like, considered a long engagement in today's world.
Yes.
It used to be considered normal. Do you feel like that was enough time, too much time?
I definitely feel like it was enough time. We certainly hit a lull in wedding planning where I was like, okay, maybe I've done too much at the beginning, but was glad actually for that downtime because then we hit about, I don't know, probably the 90-day mark. And then I felt like I was rushing and trying to finalize everything all over again.
How old were you both when you got married?
I had just turned 29, and then Christian is 4 years older than I am, so he was 33.
So you met in your early-ish 20s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you all meet?
We actually met via Tinder. So, yeah, you and I have talked about like our workload. He and I both are workaholics and have worked a lot in life. And that was basically the only way he and I were able to meet anybody and date. I worked 6, 7 days a week, and so did he. And we spent a lot of our beginning days just meeting each other in passing when we could.
I would say probably at least 80% of my couples meet via online dating in some form now.
Yeah.
Because all we do is work, and so many of us work from home now.
Yes.
That we don't go out in the world like people used to.
Exactly. And he and I are from completely different circles. So there's no way, I don't think that we would have ever crossed paths had it not been for that.
Do you remember which of you sent the first message?
It was definitely him.
Okay.
But what's crazy, and I tell people this all the time, I can remember really looking at his profile and like really being like, wow, like he's really cute. Like he's got all these dogs on his profile because Christian's a dog trainer professionally. And I was like, well, I mean, he's got something going for him. Like he was a Marine. I had just recently gotten out. And so I was attracted to that. And then he had all these dogs on his profile. And our first date was actually me coming to the kennel that he worked at to play with the puppies that they had just gotten. So he knew what he was doing. He did a good job.
That is brilliant. Yeah, you want to play with the puppies? Yes,
Exactly, yeah.
absolutely. So before your wedding day, had you ever been a bridesmaid before?
Yes, just once prior, literally the May right before we got married.
Okay.
So that was the only time I'd really seen somebody get married up close.
Had you attended weddings before?
Yeah, definitely had attended weddings, but on the outskirts of it, just acquaintances, friends of Christian.
I've always found that it's interesting how many people have actually not been to weddings. When they start planning theirs,
Yeah.
they're like, we don't know what to do because we haven't been to a wedding.
Yeah. I think you hit a certain age range, that everybody around you starts getting married. So once you hit that age that all of your friends are, like you just hit a stride and like everybody's getting married the next thing you know.
Yes, exactly. So going into your wedding day, what were some of the most important things to you that you really wanted to make sure that you got exactly what you wanted when it came to those things?
The biggest thing, honestly, is I just wanted us to have fun. I put a lot of stress on myself in the wedding planning process, but at the end of the day, I knew that I just wanted our wedding to be fun. I always say, like, you go into some people's houses and you immediately know who they are. And that's what I wanted people to get out of our wedding. I wanted them to walk into it and immediately know who Christian and I were as a couple and what we wanted for that day. So we just wanted to celebrate with all the people that had helped us grow in our relationship. We're big on community, and our friends and our family help us all through everything in life. So it was really important that it was a celebration of not only us, but the people around us.
Were there any vendors that were more important to you for the wedding day than others?
Definitely. When I started the wedding planning process, I told my parents and everyone the biggest chunk of my budget I wanted to go to florals.
Okay.
So florals were super important to us. DJ, that was another thing that was super important because the music sets the whole mood for the entire day from start to finish. So definitely wanted someone that we trusted and understood our vibe because Christian and I are completely different when it comes to musical taste. So knew it was going to be a challenge for somebody. And then the venue was very important to us along with the food because we knew that those were going to be the biggest chunks of the budget. So if we're going to be paying, a pretty decent price, we wanted to really get the most that we could out of it.
I really appreciate that you talked a little bit about the DJ
Yeah.
because I talk about that in every one of my meetings because a lot of times, especially if they haven't been to a larger wedding, they're not familiar with the roles that a DJ plays.
Yes.
So it's always good when other couples reiterate what I'm saying as
Yes,
well.
definitely. And it worked out really well because you gave us a suggestion of Tom, and we cannot say enough good things about him. And it was funny because he actually DJ'd the wedding of my friend that I was in the May prior, had no idea. Like, I had sent her a couple suggestions based off our conversation and didn't know she ended up booking with him, and it was wonderful. We got to essentially see what he was gonna do for our wedding, like, prior to ours, and so when we finally got the chance to meet with him for our wedding, we were already, like, sold. We were like, "We know you know exactly what you're doing. You did a wonderful job with their wedding. Like, we could just, like, cut, copy, paste, and we'll be good."
That's awesome. So I pulled up our notes from our very first meeting that we had, and we always did in-person meetings at Starbucks.
Yes.
Anytime that Simply Love can pay for my Starbucks and not Sarah paying for my Starbucks, I am here for the Starbucks. I always try to treat my couples to Starbucks as well. Sometimes they do not let me, but I try my best to whenever we meet. And it looks like we met for the first time about a month after you got engaged.
Yeah.
And you had already toured 2 venues whenever we met. You had 1, 2, 3, 4 more scheduled, and we met about a month later, and at that point, you had toured those venues, and you had decided on Arcadia Farms in Stanford,
Yeah.
and I actually just had a podcast with Jerry, who owns and manages Arcadia. Tell me a little bit about what you liked about Arcadia and what made you choose it.
We were really sold on the fact that you basically got the entire venue for 3 days. It was really important to us. We knew that we had a lot of, especially Christian side, coming in from out of town, so we really wanted to try to localize all of our bridal party and who else we could accommodate at the venue, and it worked out super well because the Arcadia is a bed and breakfast as well, so there were plenty of rooms available. They have a bunkhouse down the hill that we were able to put the groomsmen and Christian within prior to the wedding, so it was a nice separate space. It was a time for them to be able to reconnect, and we just really enjoyed all of the amenities that came with that. It's a beautiful space, and you can utilize it so well. They've got the barn, they've got the house. There's so many different locations that you can actually say your vows at, and then there's options for the reception space, which some of the venues that we had toured, they're wonderful. They're all gorgeous. Like, if you're a wedding venue, like, obviously you've got something going for you, but the way that it's laid out there, and we're both from Kentucky, so it was important for us to have something that meant something to the state. It's a historical place as well, so we were really just excited to get married at such a beautiful and well-utilized venue.
You originally thought that you would be inviting about 150 guests.
Yeah.
Do you know where your final guest count ended up at?
I think we ended up inviting almost like 140.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I know we had 120 that RSVP'd, and then I wanna say out of the 120 that RSVP'd, probably 100 showed up. So definitely as many as we thought. So a good percentage of everyone that you invite, is going to either say that they're coming or will show up. So that was kind of shocking to me, honestly. It's crazy once you start gathering your initial guest list, how many people you can come up with. At least I was surprised. I had always thought that we would have a smaller wedding, but ended up being a decently sized one.
Did you realize on the day of the wedding that there were that many people that didn't show?
I wouldn't say that I noticed. I mean, there were certainly key people that I'd recognized that were not there, but in the flurry of the whole day, definitely, didn't notice that there were a few people missing.
So once you booked the venue, you were about 13, 14 months away from the actual wedding date. At what point did you go and try on dresses?
Not too long after that, honestly. I wanted to give myself at least, 10 months to a year away from that date just because I had heard a lot of people say that you needed that much time in advance, which I was surprised about. Because I remember going to get your prom dress and it didn't take that long. So I was a little shocked by the lead time that you need to do that, but very glad that I had done it when I did. It gave me the ability to go and shop different places because your wedding dress is not something that have ever tried on before. It's not a typical dress. So I didn't really personally know what I wanted out of it. So I liked that I was able to go to a few different dress shops that specialized in different things.
How many shops did you go to?
I went to 3.
And where did you end up finding your dress?
Couture Closet
Okay,
in
it's
LaGrange.
LaGrange, okay.
Yeah.
And from the time you ordered it to the time it came in, do you remember how long that was?
I wanna say around, 6 months because I definitely needed time for alterations, so that
Did you
sounds
bring
about
it
right.
back to Lexington for alteration?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
And then as far as your bridal party size, how many did you have on each side?
So I had 5 on my side, and he had 4 on his side. They were gonna be even, but one of his groomsmen ended up not being able to make it very last minute, so and that happens, people
Absolutely.
coming from out of state,
Yes.
so
And you talked about a couple of your vendors that were most important to you, but one of those was your florals.
yes.
You got married in October, so you did all the fall things.
Yes.
And I will share some of your photos. I am here for all of the fall things that you did, the colors. I think your florals looked fantastic.
Shout out to Alexis at Wild Roots. We're also friends now,
Oh,
so that
good.
worked out super well.
Tell me a little bit about what you did for your florals.
I said a few keywords to Alexis and really just let her run with it. That's the conversation that I tried to have with most of our vendors was, "You all specialize in this. This is what you all do for a living. I'm just gonna give you some, ideas, but otherwise, run with it." Because I'm not trying to have too much control over it. Here's kind of thoughts I have. I'm open to suggestions. So that was important to me because I feel like people operate best when they have their own creative
100%.
ability. So I really just wanted people to do their best and have fun with it because we wanted to have fun with it. I told Alexis the biggest things that I wanted out of the florals because bless Christian's heart, he wasn't that excited about it as I was. I just wanted local. If we could do any Kentucky native plants that we could do, really important to me. I just wanted a lot of color and a lot of texture. And Alexis took that and ran with it. I told her I want it to look like florals are just growing out of the ground. I want them everywhere. Anywhere you can put them, let's do it. So I definitely spent quite a bit on the floral budget, but it turned out beautifully. And it was really nice because she gave me the idea to help me utilize some of the arrangements that we did in the ceremony for later on. Some of the pieces going down the aisleway and some of the pieces in front of the archway, we were able to put in different places, like in front of our seating area, like our photo booth that we had, and in front of our bar that we actually had outdoors, and the charcuterie display as well. So we were able to utilize a lot of the stuff for the whole entire day. It wasn't just stuck in one place, and that was super important to me, and I was very thankful that she gave me those suggestions,
Mhm.
and Alexis also showed up so early, and she said, "Just leave me the extra stuff that you've got decorations-wise, and I'll take care of it." She was like, "I'll fill in florals everywhere." She's my girl.
Nobody does that.
No, she is my girl. She went above and beyond. Her and her husband showed up and just did an amazing job, just the 2 of them, and they did so great,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah.
And that's what you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember because Our bridal suite was on the 2nd floor, and it has these big, beautiful doors that you can open up into the breezeway, and I remember getting dressed and everybody getting ready, and I just saw this come to life, and she did such an amazing job with it. My bouquet was wonderful, my bridesmaids' bouquets, the boutonnieres. I mean, everybody had a compliment about the florals, and she stuck to the color palette so well. The textures were so interesting. She just really knocked it out of the park.
That's awesome. Did you preserve your bouquet?
So I actually didn't. I wish I would have. It was just one of those things that kinda just after the day was over, it was something I intended to do. I did press them myself,
Okay.
so I do have
Okay.
some, and I pressed his boutonniere, which is really important to me.
Yeah.
So I did press some myself. I don't think they look as good that if I had sent them off to someone, but I've still got some, so
And I think in the probably last year or so, that has become so much more popular.
yes.
It is more readily available here
Yes.
because when you got married, I think that there was only one person that was doing that, whereas now we have several vendors that are doing that. So,
Exactly. So that was a little bit of a challenge too. Like I knew there was someone that had done it locally, but I also know that they book up.
yeah.
I mean, there's only so many that they're able to do. And then you see these other ones online where you can ship it and the cost is
Uh-huh.
exorbitant.
And
You've
they have to
already
be prepared a certain way to
yes,
be shipped.
exactly. And it was just a lot of thought that would have gone into it that I unfortunately just did not have any mental capacity left
Fair.
for. But it is a regret of mine. It's also a regret of mine I forgot my bouquet when I walked back down the aisle. We said "I do," we kissed, and I was like, "Let's go." I was so excited. I got all the way down to the end of the aisle, we started to walk back into the house, and I looked at Christian, I said, "I forgot my bouquet." So we've got all these pictures of the nice dip we planned, the kiss, no bouquet in sight. So
Nobody realized that but you.
nobody
But
realized it
yeah,
but me.
I
But
I can imagine how
if
it felt.
and I told him, I said, "If that's the worst thing, that's my biggest
Absolutely.
regret of the day,
Yeah,
then we did pretty good." So,
exactly.
it was fine.
You mentioned that your food was also important.
Yeah.
Did you have alcohol?
Yes.
Okay, like beer and wine, or did we also have liquor?
We had everything. That was important to us as well. We definitely wanted to do an open bar. We had invited all these people. People had traveled a pretty good distance, and we wanted to make sure that they were there and gonna have a good time.
Absolutely. And did your caterer take care of the bar, or did you bring in the alcohol and the venue had bartenders?
We supplied the alcohol, and
Okay,
then our catering supplied the
bartenders.
bartenders, and they also helped us come up with some signature cocktails. So we did have the liquor kind of predetermined into signature cocktails, but we did purchase some mixers and stuff so that way you could take that liquor that was allotted for the signature cocktails and mix them into other drinks. Because it was surprising to me, the alcohol budget and figuring out the number for how much you need per person. Because we had canned beer, and then we also had, like, canned cocktails, like High Noon, stuff like that. We're not big wine drinkers, but we definitely had some because we knew some people would want that, and we wanted to have some for our toast as well, but, yeah, really shocking to me how much you need.
It's amazing how quickly it goes, too.
Yes, amazing how quickly it goes and amazing what you'll be left over with.
Were you left with a lot or just random?
Just random,
Okay.
but then it's kind of like, what do you do with it
Mhm.
afterwards? We were happy to have leftover, like, bottles of liquor because
Yeah.
that's easy to transport. Unfortunately, somehow some of the boxes of the cans got opened, and you
Yeah.
cannot return those at that point, so the morning after, we were loading those into black trash bags and transporting them back to the house because we didn't know what else to do with it, and we were like, "Well, you can't give it away,
Yeah.
so guess we're gonna have."
Have you drank it all yet?
No, no, I don't even think we honestly touched it. Like, we were trying to give it away, essentially.
Mhm.
Anytime we'd show up to anybody's house afterwards, we were like, "Here's some alcohol. We're not drinking it, but here's some."
Yeah.
So,
And as far as your food, what type of menu did you have?
we had a buffet style menu. We wanted it very relaxed, but kinda true to the Southern style cuisine. We had a few slider options. We had green beans, mac and cheese as sides, and Sweet Lulu's does an amazing job. We had seen them at the is it the bridal
Bridal
showcase?
bliss, yeah.
Yes, so we had tried some of their food there, and we were super impressed with, like, the miniatures they were able to
Mhm.
do, so we're really pleased with that. We did the buffet style menu with 3 different types of sliders, the 2 southern sides, and then we did a dessert bar. We're both not, like, huge, like, cake people,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to try to figure out how much cake we needed to do a lot per person,
Mhm.
and I like a variety of desserts, and so does he, so we wanted people to have options. We had little shooters full of Oreo, like, mudslide type things,
Their
banana
desserts are
pudding. Oh my
fantastic.
gosh, those were gone
Yeah.
so fast. People came up to us and they were like, "The dessert bar's gone." And
Yeah.
Christian and I maybe had, like, 2 bites of stuff besides our cake. I mean, our cake was wonderful too, but was really looking forward to that dessert bar, but it got
So,
snatched up
yeah.
so quickly. And they did charcuterie cups for us for the cocktail
Oh,
hour as
yeah.
well. They allowed us to kinda personalize those, so I made some stickers to put on them, and they did such a good job. They, made sure it was the right color scheme that we wanted.
Mhm.
Those were a huge hit. There were only, like, a handful left out of the 120 that we had ordered, so
Did you actually get to eat any at your reception?
yes.
Good.
The timeline was very important to me. We had discussed it,
Mhm.
like, I feel like in length because 'cause I'm a type A personality, and I wanted to make sure that everything was gonna go to plan and everybody was on the same page, but the biggest thing about our timeline is I wanted to allow enough time for him and I to, like, take a breath, take everything in, and also to be able to eat and
Yeah.
enjoy the company that we had. So we were able to attend our cocktail hour for part of it. So we were able to enjoy the charcuterie appetizer. We were able to grab some cocktails. We allotted time for us to sit down and eat. Everybody was eating at the same time. It worked out super well. Just missed out on those desserts because they look so good. Everybody wanted them.
Did you do a first look?
No.
Okay, I didn't think you did.
No. So it was really great that it worked out the timeline the way that it did, because I know that's a lot of how people save time
Yep.
is doing a first look because of pictures, and that was something that was really important to Christian. That was one of his non-negotiables. He wanted the first time to see me to be me walking down the aisle, and, I liked that. So,
Okay.
we did not do a first look, and I'm glad we didn't. I
Okay.
know it works out for some people, and it's very special, but that was just what we wanted.
Usually it's the groom that's a non-negotiable for. I would say 90% of the time it's the groom that his only non-negotiable usually.
That was basically his only non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was kind of along for the ride. He definitely had, opinions and definitely shared his thoughts on everything along the way, but that was something that he would not budge on.
I also want to talk about your stationery.
Yeah.
You worked with Allison from Wild Joy, and honestly, it may be still my favorite suite that she has ever done. The black and the velvet
Wonderful.
and the orange and the fall, the crest, like the
Yeah.
crest had your dog in it.
Yes.
Like everything about it made me want to go to your wedding.
That was really important to us, and I kinda told Allison, I said, "I feel like the stationery kinda sets the tone for what to expect." And I got so many good reviews from the velvet envelopes, the gold, wax seals, like the gold foil that she used in the lettering. I mean, the attention to detail was insane. It turned out so well. Like, they're works of art. They're gorgeous.
Yes.
And not only did our stationery turn out great, but she also did some other pieces for us, like our menu. She designed
Okay.
like, helped design, like, the menu that would sit at the buffet and our custom cocktail sign. She did little portraits of our cats for us. Like, they turned out so good, and she was so wonderful to work with. Like, my husband even that was part of what he wanted to do. He wanted to create the crest that went on to the back of those, and she worked with just him, and they came up with
I
that,
love
and it was so wonderful. Loved it so much.
Have you printed that and put that anywhere in your house?
Yes.
Okay.
So our signature cocktail sign actually sits in our home. It's like our little bar
I
like
love that.
sign. Yes. That was something that was important to us. Like, wanted our wedding to be a reflection of who we are as a couple, and our animals are very near and dear to us. So we had the cats on the cocktail sign. We had custom cornhole boards of pictures of our dogs. Yeah. So it was definitely. Oh, and the drink stirs, they had little pictures of all of our animals on them, and it said drinks on us.
I love that.
Yeah.
Did any of the animals make an appearance at the wedding?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh,
Um,
unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, yes, it was
Okay.
not planned.
Oh, okay.
But the rehearsal dinner night, we had planned on someone to come and stay at our house with our animals, and unfortunately, he just did not jive with our German Shepherd. He was a little afraid of him, which, like,
That's fair. Yeah.
everybody's got their thing. And so he didn't feel comfortable letting Romeo out of his crate. So bless my maid of honor. her husband went and got our dog from our house. Luckily, we didn't live that far away. Got him the night of, broke down his, kennel for us, brought the dog and the kennel, and they assembled it, and Romeo got to hang out with the groomsmen all day, so I think that was his plan all along. He said, "These are my favorite guys, I'm not missing out on this,"
Exactly.
so
Yep. So did you end up having pictures with him at all?
No.
Okay, no
No.
pictures. Okay.
No. That would have been
Did Christian have any pictures with him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did get pictures with him, so that was great, but
We've talked a little bit about your flowers and food and stationery being important. Let's talk about your budget, from your starting budget to the ending budget. Like, what percentage wise do you think that increased?
probably not too much.
Okay.
I went back through, like, our Google spreadsheet, and we were pretty spot on with everything that we had budgeted. We knew that the biggest chunk of the budget was definitely gonna be the venue and the food. So, we had allotted quite a bit for that, so I wanna say it was relatively spot on. I wanna say we were probably only off, like, a couple thousand
Wow.
higher than it
Okay.
ended up being.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very unusual, but that is amazing.
Like I said, type A personality. I was
Well,
really keeping stuff.
and because you had that 12 to 13, 14 months to plan,
Yeah,
you didn't have to book a vendor that was just available for that day. You had time to meet with a couple of vendors, to
exactly.
look at proposals, to really think it over. You didn't have to make those quick decisions.
Exactly.
You had the time, and that's the benefit to having a little bit longer of an engagement, is having the time and being able to get multiple quotes to make sure it does fit in your budget.
Yes, not only did they fit within our budget, but they fit with our personality as well. That was something that was really important to he and I both, was making sure that they kinda understood who we are, we got along, because it's a creative process on both ends, so we really wanted to make sure that it was gonna go well for both parties, and everyone that we chose, we handpicked, and it worked out so well. We thanked our vendors in our speech at the dinner because we just wanted them to know, like, literally that day is not possible without all of those people working together, and those people probably have never worked together before, and everyone got along so great. Like, it was just a team effort, and the day went off, like, essentially without a hitch.
That's amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for doing that. I know that meant the world to them.
They're wonderful. I will recommend and shout them out any chance that I get.
That's awesome. I love that. And leading up to the wedding, did you have any showers?
Yes, my bridesmaids threw me a bridal shower, so
Okay.
we did have that.
Okay. And did you have a registry anywhere?
We did have a registry. That was something that honestly we found difficult to do. Christian and I had already lived together for quite a few years before getting engaged, so we had essentially everything that we already needed and that what people traditionally register for.
You didn't need another toaster?
Didn't need it. I mean, we took it as a chance to upgrade
Absolutely.
everything
Yes.
that we had. We didn't wanna just ask for stuff
Yes.
just to ask for things. So we did, and I like that it's becoming more of a trend now where you can just allot money to go towards items.
Mhm.
People can contribute towards, like, bigger purchase items, or people can contribute. I think the way that we had it set up on our registry was if they wanted to contribute to a dinner for us, like a night
Absolutely.
out,
Yeah.
or towards the honeymoon, or we knew that we were gonna be moving, so, moving expenses. And I like that it's more of an accessibility thing. It doesn't feel so faux pas anymore to
Mhm.
ask for cash, because I feel like a lot of people now have lived together and
Absolutely.
have been together quite a while before getting married. So, like, it's less items, more just kinda, what you wanna contribute.
And you went to Arizona for your bachelorette party.
Yes.
How long was that trip?
That trip was, I wanna say 4 days in total that we were actually there,
Okay.
like, without the travel.
How
So
was that?
wonderful. I wanted it to be an excuse for us to all go to a place we'd never gone before.
Yep.
Unfortunately, got sucked into the TikTok trend of Scottsdale, Arizona. They market that really well for bachelorette trips, and it was just as fun.
Would you
I think.
recommend it?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. We did some great things while we were down there. We're all from the horse world, so we took a trail ride out in the desert with the saguaro cactus. The mountains are in the background. I mean, it's an experience that you'll never get again, so it was really cool to be able to experience that with all my friends.
The week of the wedding, you said that you took 2 days off. So was that Friday and Thursday?
Yeah, I took off Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
Christian was much more willing to take off time than I did. Honestly, looking back, I should have taken off more time, but I didn't anticipate how much I would need to do leading up to it, honestly. He took off a lot of time because all of his groomsmen and all of the people he had invited essentially were coming from out of town, so he wanted to have time to be able to spend with those
for him.
people. Yeah. His side, his friends, his groomsmen, like, can't say enough good things about them. Those guys are the best.
Did they get their suits from Gino's?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful experience
Good.
from them. They did a wonderful job with Christian because that was also a non-negotiable for him. He wanted a velvet coat. So he knew exactly what he wanted out of the experience and what he wanted to wear. So he wore a velvet jacket. He had his velvet shoes. Everything looked really nice. All of his grooms were in all black. They all had a great experience at Gino's. My dad ended up getting his tux from Gino's as well. Went to the fitting with him, and they put so much attention to detail in it. They're so knowledgeable. They're so pleasant to work with. Like, could not say enough
And
good
were
things about them.
some of the groomsmen from out of town?
Yes.
So they
So
sent in their measurements?
yes.
Okay.
And we're able to pick it up, and everything worked out great.
So the week of, what are some of the things that you had to do that you hadn't planned to do?
Small things, I wanna say. I think I underestimated how much little things would need to be done. That was kind of the only meltdown that I had. So, like, wedding day, relaxed, didn't care. We were already there. Whatever was gonna happen was gonna happen. Night before, complete meltdown. Between the dog needing to
That's
be
fair. Yeah,
got
fair.
I forgot to tell the people who were picking up our pizza that we had for everybody that showed up to the rehearsal, forgot to tell them where to get it. So they were trying to get a hold of me while we were trying to do the rehearsal, and food did not arrive on time. And then I had also booked someone to come and do the permanent bracelets for my bridesmaids as a gift.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to give the officiant and my mom a gift as well. So I had a lot of gift cards for all of them to come. So I was trying to coordinate with the girl that was supposed to show up and do the bracelet thing. I was trying to coordinate with the food. We're still trying to like actually do the rehearsal. And then I also needed to decorate everything with all the stuff that I had bought because we had the rentals come the morning of, and that went well. But it was all the little stuff that I insisted on having that I very underestimated how long that would take to set up. And like I said before, like, bless Christian's friends, his groomsmen, because they immediately got to work, started chipping in. They were taking stuff out of boxes. They were like, "Where do you want this? Where can we put this?" Like, love them so much.
So you got to the property on Friday at Arcadia. You had rehearsal that evening. I'm guessing a pizza made it there eventually
Yeah.
because it was super low key. You were setting up, and then you stayed there that evening. You had hair and makeup come to the property on Saturday morning.
Yes.
So you were able to do all of that. You didn't have to go anywhere. Did anybody bring you Starbucks?
Yes. My husband's best man went and got us all Starbucks.
I am very impressed with his groomship.
His side of the party could not have asked for better. So most of them are all ex-military themselves. So Christian just kind of said, "Here's the plan. Here's what we're doing." And they took it very seriously. They had a copy of the timeline down there. He told me that he went over it with them the night before, and they stuck to it. They were all dressed, ready to go as soon as the second shooter came down for the photographer. The videographer said he was impressed. They were all ready, took it seriously, and had a good time
I
with it.
love that.
Even with the dog down there, they were taking care of the dog, they were letting him out, they were playing with him. I mean, like, I mean this, like, wholeheartedly, I cannot say enough good things about, like, the people that we surround ourselves with, and that's why it's so important for us to have such good vendors because your friends and your family, like, make it all worth
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
So, was super just happy with how everything went.
And so who all stayed in the house with you? Your bridesmaids?
Yes.
Okay.
So my bridesmaids and then also a couple of significant others of the groomsmen that came from out of town.
Okay,
So there were
perfect.
some spare rooms, so they were able to. So then that following night, the night of the wedding, the groomsmen were able to stay with their significant others in those rooms.
Okay.
And then any groomsmen that were single or anyone that needed to stay the night, they were able to go to the bunkhouse. And we offered that to our guests as well because Stanford's not a very populated city. It's quite a drive, like, to some hotels, like, it's a little bit on a back road, and I didn't want anyone driving if they didn't have to. It makes me super uncomfortable, so we offered it to any guests. We were like, "Hey, if you decide, like, it's too far of a drive, there's spots available. We will find a place to put you." So
Okay.
that was really important to us.
And then where did you all stay that night?
We stayed in the bridal suite.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
So I had spent the night in the bridal suite the night before, and then we ended up staying in it the night of together.
Okay. And then looking back at everything a year later, is there anything that you wish you had done differently?
I wish I would have just given it a little bit more grace. I think I probably, like most people do, got really caught up in wanting it to go off perfectly, and it did. Honestly, it went probably as best that it could have with everything that we had done leading up to it. I wish I would have just, like, given myself a little bit more grace in the weeks and days leading up to it. I think we put a lot on ourselves. I put a lot on myself to make sure that everyone coming in from out of town was accommodated. Everybody was happy. We were happy. Everything was gonna go off. Everybody had been communicated with. I mean, I had told Tom, the DJ, like, "Hey, let's have a meeting the night before just to make sure, like, we're, all set." The timing of, like, the introductions, Christian and I had planned on practicing our first dance the night before. None of that happened, and I was stressed about it. I think I stayed up the night before our wedding until, like, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, like, could not stop thinking, like, my thoughts were racing. I was like, did this get done? Oh, I didn't call this person. Oh, that didn't get done. What's gonna happen in the morning? And then luckily just woke up that morning and thought to myself, well, here we are. So what's gonna happen's gonna happen. So I can't do anything about it now.
How was life after the wedding? You did not take a honeymoon immediately after, so
No.
you came back to Lexington to your house on
Yeah.
Sunday, went back to work on Monday, Tuesday?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay. What did it feel like at that point once the wedding was behind you?
It's kind of crazy because people had asked us, how's married life? And we say, like, it's not much different because we have lived together, but it's, like, this extra added bonus of, like, commitment, and, like, we were kind of riding on a high after our wedding because so many people were so congratulatory. They told us how wonderful our wedding was, how wonderful, the food was, how wonderful the venue was, so we were just on a high of, like, everybody just being so positive and so thoughtful.
Do you have any advice for someone that is listening to this now that is engaged?
Take your time. Remember at the end of the day that what's most important is 2 people are getting married, and it's a celebration of your all's relationship and your commitment to one another. All the trends and all the things that you think you need to have, you probably won't remember that much. I put a lot of emphasis on small little details, and yes, they were wonderful, and I'm glad that they were there, but had they not been there, either way, I would have been able to marry my best friend, surrounded by all of our friends and all of our family, and that's what's most important at the end of the day. So as long as you 2 are happy, as long as you're happy with how the day went, that's all that matters.
For more information about Simply Love Studio or to schedule your wedding consultation, go to simplylovestudio.com.